What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we're going to be talking all about stocking and overstocking your goldfish aquarium. So make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back. As always, check out those links in the description and make sure you follow us on Instagram. Today we're going to talk about overstocking your goldfish aquarium and your aquariums in general really. This can be applied to all fish keeping hobbyists. So I've seen this question come up a lot on the Facebook group and I addressed it nearly a year ago now, maybe about 10 months ago, and there's lots and lots of comments on the Facebook group and they are just saying your tank is overstocked, poor fish, or you're a horrible person or horrible hobbyist. And these comments are coming with no helpful information, no help or understanding from the hobbyist. They're just coming in and saying your tank's overstocked. Now, how is that helpful for anyone? If you just come and tell me my tank's overstocked, why am I going to trust you and why am I going to believe you if you can't even give me any pointers or you can't even say it in a nice way? You wouldn't just walk up to someone randomly in a fish store and say, oh, can I see a picture of your tank? And they show you and you just say, your tank's overstocked. Because no one speaks to you like that in real life. So why do we feel that it's okay to speak to each other over the internet like that? And that is really what spurred this video on. I'm not annoyed, but I'm just a bit upset that people still continue to speak to each other like that on the internet when they need to just help. They could just give some pointers, some helpful ideas, which would make everything better and bring the community together. So really today in this video I'm going to be going through why your tank is overstocked and the different pointers and the different tips you need to look for when stocking your goldfish aquarium and how to tell if your tank is actually overstocked. So first of all, what is the determining factor of if your tank is overstocked? So firstly, we've got the old-fashioned rule of 100 litres for one goldfish and then 40 litres for every additional goldfish. So that rule is so old-fashioned and I think completely irrelevant. Now a lot of people may challenge me on this and say, no, you need to do that, that is the best rule. So if that is the rule we're going by, 2 goldfish in a 140 litre tank with 2 sponge filters are going to be just as happy, or happier should I say, than 2 goldfish in a 100 litre tank with 2 canister filters, regular water changes, a better diet, better feeding and better cleanliness and water quality. No, it doesn't make sense at all. And it also doesn't make sense, that rule saying you need 100 litres for the first fish and 40 litres for every additional fish, because surely this tank here, for example, this is a 700 litre tank. So let's say I overstock this with, I don't know, say 20 Ranchu, but I put 3 Ranchu in 180 litres. Are these 20 Ranchu in here going to be more unhappy and potentially stunted and have health problems rather than the 3 fish in the 180 litre tank? Because in this tank here, they'll have far more room, they'll also have lots of other fish to interact with, and they just have more space in general. So it doesn't make sense to me why we need to have this specific rule when there are so many determining factors which can influence the way we keep our goldfish. When looking at tank size, it is important not to put too many fish in a tank. However, more fish in a larger tank are gonna do better than a few smaller fish in a smaller tank, going with the rules that we just spoke about. If you're doing the correct maintenance on the overstocked tank with more goldfish than the recommended litre per fish, then they're just going to be just as happy as those other fish. So you could keep 3 goldfish in 180 litres, which is the recommended level. However, if you're not doing regular water changes, haven't got sufficient filtration, and haven't got sufficient or good water parameters, then those 3 fish in 180 litres are not going to be as happy as an overstocked tank that has the correct maintenance and filtration system. So that is why this rule of thumb is so outdated, and there is so much more to it. You cannot tell someone that their tank is overstocked unless their tank is absolutely teeming with goldfish. Let's say I put in this 700 litre tank maybe 40 or 50 fully grown Ranchu or Oranda, then yes, you can say that tank is overstocked, no matter what filtration I've got on it, because the fish don't have a lot of space to move around. They're very cramped, they're always bumping into each other, and it could lead to some potential health implications, and also the fish being unhappy with so much movement, so much action going on. However, if I put 8 fish in here, or if I put 14 fish in here, they are just going to be as happy if I can maintain the water parameters at exactly the same levels with the same type of maintenance. So let's take this for example. If someone puts a tank up on Facebook, for instance, on the group, they've got a 200 litre aquarium with 5 Ranchu in it. Now technically that tank is overstocked. And before jumping the gun and telling them that their tank is overstocked, why don't you ask them a few questions? Maybe this is a quarantine tank and the fish aren't even going to be living in here, for example. Maybe they do 2 or 3 water changes a week. Maybe they've got 2 or 1 really good canister with filter with lots of good biomedia in it. Maybe they've got no ammonia, no nitrate, and the nitrates are below 10. The fish have got a good feeding regime, they're getting a balanced diet. There are so many things that come into play when deciding if a tank is overstocked or not. So a few things now we're going to talk about in maintaining your tank and making sure that if it is overstocked, the fish are going to be healthy. So the first thing we need to do is make sure our water parameters are on point and they are really within the limits. We need to have no ammonia, 0 nitrite, and keep the nitrates as low as possible, preferably under around 30 to 40 parts per million, ideally in that range of 20 and under. So if our parameters are going up from there, we're getting higher nitrates, or we've got an overstocked tank, we want to be doing more regular water changes so the fish do not get stunted, because fish stunting is definitely an issue in smaller tanks that are slightly overstocked, because the fish do release pheromones into the water which causes them to stop growing. So when we conduct a water change, we are removing these from the water, allowing the fish to reach its full maximum potential. Now, it is a complete myth that the fish get stunted and their organs keep growing, because that is just against nature and that is impossible. It is impossible for the body to decide to stop growing its skeleton and its skin, but to continue growing its heart, its liver, its kidneys, for example. It doesn't make sense, and that is a complete myth. But the fish will become stunted and it will impact its future and potential lifespan and its future potential size as well. So if we are keeping fish in higher volumes in smaller bodies of water, we need to make sure we're doing good numbers of water changes to make sure that we remove those pheromones and any organic and inorganic compounds from the water. We also need to make sure we've got good filtration. A really good canister filter or a good sump system is great. Using a good biomedia like BioHome Mini Ultimate, or using some good mechanical filtration and then lots of biomedia afterwards, is a great way to make sure our parameters are kept in check. If we've got more fish than that recommended level. We also need to have good oxygenation, good aeration and good surface agitation so that CO2 can exchange from the water and oxygen can regas into the water as well. We also need to make sure our fish are having a balanced diet, some good gel food, maybe a good quality soft pellet, maybe some veggies as well, because a fish tank with good water change system or regime, good filtration and good feeding is going to be far better than a standard tank with the recommended number of goldfish in it, where this is not being conducted at all, because the fish are going to have a far better quality of life even if they're in this overstocked tank than the fish in the other tank where the correct maintenance and the correct regimes aren't being conducted on. So I hope that video has been helpful for some of you, and if you want to challenge me in the comments, then go ahead, because I will happily comment back to you and I will happily reply. All discussions are always kept in a light and friendly mood, because this is supposed to be a hobby where we can all come together, and that is the whole point of the channel and the Facebook group, to bring people together to share different experiences. And I have a very open mind. If you can justify why this is the correct way to do so, then I will completely agree with that and I see no problem with that. As always, there is always multiple ways we can keep our fish, and if you've got the evidence and you've got the facts to show that's the way to do it, then I completely stand by you. So I hope this has been a helpful informational video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, leave some comments down below, let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.